Hello students, today we are going to start with a new chapter. This is chapter number 5 in our textbook. Name of the chapter is Server-Side Scripting, PHP. Now there are various scripting languages which are available. ASP, Python, Java. Out of this we have to learn PHP. So PHP is one of the scripting programming languages. Now when we say scripting programming languages, again we will have to do some programming here. This chapter is also important from your practical point of view. Alright, so now let's see. Before starting with PHP, that is the programming language, first let us understand what do we mean by server-side scripting. Now here you can see that this is a machine. This is a centrally located machine which has all our programs and all the data. In server-side scripting environment, this machine is known as web server. Okay. Now this machine has all the data. This has all the programs. So obviously this machine is going to provide it to different machines. Now these different machines are client machines. So here this is one client, second client and third client. Each of the clients is going to request to this web server. Then after the request, this web server is going to perform some actions. Okay, after performing some actions, after performing some processes, it is going to return back the result to the client. Okay, so here this is returning the request to the client. Let us take for an example that we have to find out result of 12th standard. Okay, so for finding the result, what do? Is you enter your seat number. After you enter your seat number, you click on submit. Once you click on submit, the request is sent to the web server. Then web server is going to process the request. After processing the request, it will return back the result on your own machine, which is nothing but the client machine. Okay, so this is how the client server scripting environment is going to work. Now when we are talking about this web server should have one of the scripting languages, and we are going to say that it is going to have PHP. Right, so let us see one more diagram related to this. Now this is our web browser. On web browser, our program is going to, or our code, our request is going to be written in WebGML, HTML5, CSS, JavaScript query. So combining all this, we will have some code written over here. This code is going to request through internet to the web server. Okay, so we are sending the request. Now here on the web server's end, it has PHP, which is a scripting language, MySQL, which is a database, Apache, a server, different server modules. All these present combined together are going to perform some kind of process. After the process, it is going to return the result. So here there is one more diagram. You can see the client requesting the web page, the web server and the database, and after the request is completed, it will return the result page. The result page is nothing but a HTML page. Now this HTML page is dynamic. Okay, dynamic means the contents of this web page are going to change. Here also you can see a client is requesting, the server PHP is going to execute in relation with the database and the data which is stored over here, and then return the result page. So we've taken an example where we are sending a roll number. So if I send roll number here, process, returns. So this is dynamic. It is going to return only result of that seat number or roll number which I have entered. Next time, if I enter a different seat number, a different roll number, it will again process and return the result. Okay. So every time page that is returned is dynamic. It is changing according to our request. So this is about server-side scripting. Now let us see what is PHP. Now PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. Please remember the full form. Is widely used as is widely used open source scripting language. It is widely used and it is open source. So these are the two basic properties of PHP language. PHP focuses on server-side scripting, which is used to collect form data, generate dynamic content, or send or receive cookies. So now PHP is going to work in three different ways. First one, form data. If I am filling any kind of form online, it is through PHP that your server is collecting. After collecting, it is going to store it in the database. Let's take for example that I am creating a new Gmail ID. When I am creating a new Gmail ID, I have to fill in all the details, my login details, my name, my age, my city. All these things will be then sent to a web server where this server-side scripts are going to run. After that, it will be saved in database. Once it is saved in database, next time I can log into that particular server. Okay. Generate dynamic pages. Now this we have seen, according to our request, it is going to return the page. So if I send one roll number, it is going to return the result of that roll number. Send or receive cookies. Now we know that each of our web pages, they are storing some cookies. Okay. So this is also the work of your server-side scripting. PHP is responsible for sending and receiving cookies. Then there are three things to make this work: PHP parser, web server, web browser. Now whenever we are talking about server-side scripting, there are three most important things which are required. Without that, you cannot run this. The first one is PHP parser, second one web server. Okay, so server is important. PHP parser is nothing but a component of PHP, and a web browser. So if I have a web browser, if I have some browser like Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, then only I can place my request. Okay, and there is one more important thing. Now since all this server-side scripting is based on the server, a user is not allowed to see the code. The code is hidden from the user. So this is a very important point you should remember. When we are working in client side, we can see the code. When we are working on server side, we cannot see the code. Okay, so this is about PHP. Now let us see why more and more people are using PHP. Why PHP? As there are many different languages, so why do we use PHP? First point, widely used. Hypertext preprocessor, that is PHP, is widely used. Now, since many of the people are already using PHP, that is why a new set of people is also going to use PHP. Let us understand this by an example. Now we all have different messenger apps in our phone. We have WhatsApp, we have Snapchat. All these are installed. We are using this because more and more people are using. We want to connect to those people. That is why we use this. There is another app which is Telegram. A very few of the people are using this. Okay, so the idea is to say the apps which are used more widely will also be followed by other people. Okay, so some of the people if you are using PHP, then the other set of people are also going to use PHP. Next point, easy to learn. The syntax of PHP is very easy. It is very much similar to another programming languages, so it is very easy for a person to learn PHP. Then, suited for web development. Whenever we are talking about PHP, we have to see that it should help us in development on web. So this PHP is very much suitable for development on the web. Next, PHP is free to download. PHP is one of the open source software. Open source softwares you can easily download. You can go directly to PHP site and you can download the PHP installer. Next, embedded into HTML. We have written one HTML code, and if we want to use PHP, we can directly write a code inside that particular HTML file. So it can be used in that same file. We can write code in HTML file. So this makes us an additional point. Next, runs on various platforms. Now PHP is platform independent. If you have Mac OS, Windows OS, Unix, Linux, it does not affect. PHP can work fine on any of these platforms. Next, PHP is compatible with almost all the servers. There are various servers which are available. Microsoft IIS, Apache, Lightspeed, Nginx. PHP can work with all these servers without any problem. Okay, so people prefer. Next, PHP supports wide range of databases. Different organizations, different firms are going to use different types of databases. They will have a different set of database. So here, PHP supports different databases, MySQL, then Postgres, Oracle, Sysbase, DB2. PHP can work in unison with any of these databases. So the organization doesn't have to change the database. They can work with the same database and use PHP along. The last point, runs efficiently on server side. Now this PHP is server side scripting. So we need that it should work properly on server side. So this becomes a very additional point that PHP can run efficiently on server side. Okay, so this was why people are using what is PHP and what do you mean by server side scripting. In your next class, we are going to see different features of PHP. Okay, thank you.